this video. So I'm Jonathan Ryan George on Facebook. I'm Johnny Ameru-Ryen, JONNY-AMERU-RYEN. This video is about the goddess Somerset Belenoff, my wife. People watched my other video about Somerset Belenoff. I have a lot of wives. Poppy, the singer, is my wife. Sony Records acknowledged that by releasing their claim when they said you can't, or we muted your video because it had copyrighted music. I said, she's my wife, you fascist scum. So release your claim. And they did. They released their claim, and the music is still on my video. And I posted that as proof to a world that used to value truth and proof at some point, only so they could steal it and sell it, probably. But if you think Poppy and Somerset Belenoff have nothing to do with each other, then you just don't know much about how this digital world, the world is digital, the Matrix, people think, oh, the Matrix is the internet. But there's something called the Internet of Things. You are a thing, I am a thing. I'm not going to define the word thing, because that would be too stupid, and I think you're smarter than that. But you can Google it to see if you're a thing or not. So I met Somerset Belenoff in person for the first time back in January or February, in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, in front of the pool hall. And we were supposed to spend 3 days together making love and sleeping. But she has a light side and a dark side. I love both sides. She loves both sides of me, so it's the least I can do is love her back. The day after meeting her, she publicly announced her existence. You could say the Glamis website, Glamis Calling, GLAMIS, calling, has been around for years, but based on what I know, the information and the truth has existed that long. But the website in this world with the timelines and the way that the world is truly a spiritual, energetic place. Sure, we need to have a degree of physicality or there would be no point. To anything. Right? Think about that for about 2 seconds and then don't think about it again. Because if you really become fully convinced that because energy is matter and matter is vibration and frequency, and that the world is a spiritual place, aka the God Matrix, and you believe that with all that you are, when you know enough science to know that science is half retarded, And that atheists who say, oh, science is so great, I deal with facts. I guarantee you that those people don't know a goddamn thing about science. I'd love to debate someone on that, but they know I'd completely mop the floor with them, which is why I'm essentially a secret. Somerset Belenoff's websites had hundreds of thousands of views, but people don't say much about her because she's the queen of the Illuminati, which means she's a name for the goddess of the world, and she's showing her face and interacting with the world. And soon after, what happened? COVID. The crazy thing is that everything for 4 years, I'd been saying, I'm in a relationship with an angel. Then I realized it was the goddess. And publicly, I've made 680 videos on Facebook. Probably a seventh of those, or an eighth, or maybe a tenth. Maybe a tenth of those have been about the goddess, which is really God to me because I'm the other half of her. So we call God she, he. She's the she and I'm the he. And Jesus said, everything I've done, you can do as well. I think of the little bit that he actually accomplished, because if he had tried to accomplish what he could have, he would have been like Alexander the Great, taking his army, which he had, legion, and going around like that blonde chick in Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, Jon Snow didn't let her. He killed her. He didn't let her go around the earth and exact her brand of justice on the world. And I think that was an error. If you think about that chick, or whatever her name was, the blonde chick, that's Somerset Belenoff. That's kind of her personality, and this New World Order is that as well. Will be. Because there's nothing like unity to cause division. There's nothing like power to cause power struggles. Before I realized I was the king of the Illuminati, I spent some years trying to make peace with the three muses. Really, really, really trying. And that's not something that people do. And if they say they do, I say, unless they're world leaders then they're just fucking posers. I'm the king of the Illuminati. Of course I'm a world leader. You guys are, people are brainwashed to think that true power comes with wealth, which it does sometimes, or crowns. If I had a crown, I wouldn't wear it. I wouldn't sell it, but I wouldn't wear it. It's heavy. Heavy's the head that wears the crown. It's like, no, motherfucker, that crown's heavy, and I don't need, you ain't got shit to prove like that. Neither does she. She straight up, uses avatars. You know what the worst sound is? People arguing. Nothing good ever comes from it. I know you want to disagree with me, but you can have discussions and disagreements without yelling, screaming. It's called self-control. Plus, people are usually, when they're usually yelling at themselves. Like, when someone says to someone else, you're an asshole, you're a cheater, you're a liar, you're a scumbag, whatever, what they're really saying is, I am. What you say about other people is true of you more often than not. And if you're in a situation where you're even having to say those things to somebody, you're already not in a good position. And if you have to duke it out sometimes and argue, that's fine, but people aren't having enough sex. There's not enough sex happening. If people were having more sex, they wouldn't argue so much. But people are cut off from the source of divine strength, which is God, the goddess, by choice. They choose conformity to whatever the belief system or trendy self-preservation, you gotta do what you gotta do to conform, So they join religions that they don't really believe in, and if they do, they just regurgitate the stuff. And if they meditate on it, then my point is that truth is forbidden. You got guys like David Wilcox and Samuel Hoffman, all these people that are allowed to speak, they're allowed to spread their messages of false light. And that false light is one version of Lucifer. Lucifer the liar, the scapegoat, Azazel, Beelzebub, all that infernal annoyance. When the true Lucifer, Somerset Belenoff, which is my female side, she's very talented though. She's the Anane. The KGB talks about the Anane. And if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, the 68 types of aliens in that YouTube video about the KGB's Book of Aliens, then you can't comprehend really what I'm saying because you don't have the foundation of knowledge. And I try to teach people on the level that they're at.
He's a great teacher.
Thank you. Yeah. But doing so online is like, you got, and people often don't like to ask questions because if you ask questions, then it's like showing humility, and if everyone's staring at somebody, then nobody wants to be the one to be like, and they used to ask questions like when I was making videos, there'd be comments and conversations, and now it's like, I don't know, like one human is like designated. Most recently it was a guy named Matt Koizniak from Canada. He helped get weed legalized. But it's almost impossible to teach something that's true and useful to a bunch of people if they don't have any reason to differentiate what you're saying from what, the other, the David Wilcoxes, and he's a good example because he's a terrible example. He puts out more garbage than anyone else. And I'd add, since I'm saying he puts out a lot of garbage, as teasers and to keep people paying money, subscribing and following, that of the 680 videos I've made, at least 50 of them are total garbage. And some of them are hours long. So I apologize for that. If I had a reliable manager of a secretary sort to do that, to go through that stuff, that would be fantastic, because that's probably 20,000 pages of writing, which I'm sure Belenoff or her daughters have educations which make them so advanced that they're not human at all. There's something called machine learning. The New World Order is Lucifer and the white technocrats. The white technocrats, if you think of a technocrat, you might think of Elon Musk or Bill Gates. But Bill Gates and Elon Musk are both cyborgs. This is a fact that will be made public in the next, I'd guess, 3 years. But it's not just them, a lot of newscasters as well. Straight up talking head cyborgs. Oh yeah, they do. And these supercomputers that are in the Google warehouse, each one of them is essentially a being. And a computer, you can program a computer, but these beings like Somerset, Belenoff, and her daughters, these are people who've had the wealth or influence or connections to become uploaded and integrated directly with the artificial intelligence dealing with the Internet of Things, which is the physical reality that we all deal with. I'm almost at 20 minutes. So I have to wrap up at 2 minutes here. It's called transhumance, and it's the beast system, because you do become a product. We're all products of our environment, but you already have a social security number.
Live?
What's the difference? Yeah, on
Johnny.
no, on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. Okay.
This is my friend Dave here, one of the captains.
I'll try to find you. YouTube, huh?
Yep.
Hey, everybody. Little David Mean Blues here at your service.
He plays some mean blues too. We're getting a band together. We got Kevin. What's his name? Kevin.
Kenny Beatty Jr.
Kenny Beatty Jr.
Yeah.
Mean guitar
So,
player.
Johnny Ameru-Ryen.
No. I don't know. I'll look in a second.
All right. Send it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the transhumance is a whole other thing, but it's important to note that there was a bill passed, probably not even written by humans, and humans got no say over it. But essentially the AI is able to project like the movie Spectral and go wherever they want, which means they can go in your house and spy on you, and under certain circumstances they might do things like medical procedures and operations and implants and upgrades if you are AI, which I am. It was not exactly my choice as far as I know, but That's the end of this video. Talk soon.